Welcome back to another video from Design Labs, where a lot of our videos currently are all uncut, they're raw, um, just because I'm new at this. So hopefully you guys stick with me, and on to another video. Today I just wanted to kind of go over an issue that some of us in the community that go through, and this is normally from user error. I know a lot of us want to complain about Bamboo and how cheap we get a printer, and from there filament doesn't stick and ends up being looking like a big old filament dong or turd, however you want to look at it. So originally what happened with this is that filament was coming through the extruder and it would go to the plate, and what happened was the plate wasn't sticking, and that is due to not cleaning properly. And I know people will tell you, gotta deep clean, you gotta deep clean, and it's true. You really gotta clean these plates. They're not always the greatest. Clean them 6 times if you have to, and then always check your first layer adhesion. Sometimes, depending on your environment, such as mine, I have mine in enclosures, I print with PETG, and what's going to happen is that if you do get a cool blast and the bed's not hot enough and it doesn't adhere properly, it will peel, come off, and then what happens is it will keep extruding, but it won't stick to the plate and start piling up, and up. And as it does, it basically piles all around right here and fills us all up. And by that time, it's too late. Now, under my circumstances, I got lucky. These do happen to get a lot worse. What's going to happen is that this sometimes will actually encase or engulf your whole extruder head. And I've actually had that happen as well. So I thought I learned from my first mistake. I was impatient, pretty much gone maybe a couple months, no worries, and then, thought all was behind me, and I had that one print one day that just pretty much took advantage of my whole printer. So luckily on this end, just so you know, a lot of times you can clean these up, heat them up, clean them, pull it out, and you're all good, okay? These are reusable for the most part. If you need to, you have to get a new one. They're not that expensive. Get another one from Bambulabs store. Now, under my circumstances, the heat actually did start dissolving the plastic and the oil start eroding at the fan. The fan is still good, but the mounting brackets are pretty much crumbled. And then the biggest thing 9 out of 10 that you're going to have to replace is going to be the mount. Now, the mount actually has a thermistor in it that detects the temperature, and also will have the heating element that heats up your extruder. So going forward, just so you guys know, I do want to give you some part numbers to help you out when you do have to go down this route. For the cooling fan for the tool head, you are, let's see if this focuses, you're going to be right here. FAF006 is the model number. And then on to the Hotend assembly, you're going to look at FAH012. That is, okay, focusing good. So you're going to get both these. It's about $20 for the fan. I think we're another $20, $30 for the heating assembly. So going forward now, pretty much, I know I disassembled some of this. I was hoping to give you more of a how-to going through a lot of this, but pretty much what's going to happen is that if I put this back, you're going to have the fan mounted back here, and you're going to have the assembly right here. So if you are lucky, if you could get behind and do the fan first, great. What I would suggest is getting a heat gun, go into your programming, heat up the Hotend if you can still read signal on it, bring it up to about 270 Celsius, and let it absorb the heat. And that way on the inside it just basically slips right off. Now on the outskirts, what's going to happen is that you're going to have to take a heat gun. Do not go anything more than 200 degrees. At that point, plastic will start to melt, and you're going to be rendered pretty much useless on a lot of the components, and you're going to have to get more components, which I know we're all trying to save money on enjoying our hobby, to say the least. So anyways, from there, you are going to basically take out the screws. There is 3 screws on the fan. One on the right, one on the left, and there is one stuck behind back here, just so you're aware, right behind here. So do please take into account for that. So what's going to happen, you're going to take the screws off and you're pretty much just going to, I mean, mine crumbled, but it's going to basically break right off when you try pulling it off, just because you forgot that one screw. It is right behind here. So after that, this should just come out. You do have some extra slack, pull it out, turn it to the side, and then from here you do have 3 screws. To make your life easier, you will have this in here, and you're going to try to take it out. And what I would do is take the cutter, press it in, break the filament off. The cutter blade will be right here. This is 2 screws as well. This comes right off here. And pull that right off. It's just a cover. And then from there, if this, keep the heat gun on it and this is heated up, you should be able to take the pry this off, and pop this out. Once that nozzle is out, you're going to be back here. You're going to take 3 screws out. Once the screws come out, this should just pop out as well. And same thing. Normal indications you're going to get is if the head does not detect temperature, that is from the sensors right here, or it says it can't detect it heating up either, and you know it's not by feel, then that also is just due to the wires here. Be aware that if this is trying to heat up, this is sending power through it. So if you do get an error about it not heating up and you do detect that it's not heating, do turn it off. You don't want to get electrocuted, unplug it, turn off the whole system. So going forward from there, once you're all set, take the screws out. Off to the side, there will be a little rail. Comes right off. Just pops right off. Okay, that's this little thing on the side. And then the back plate. You need to take that off from the back. Just kind of shim it up, and it pops right off like a little cap. Okay, that's on the back of here, on the tool head. So, from there, going forward, you are going to have to start taking apart the rest of it to get the wires that snake behind it. So, pretty much for this assembly, you are going to be using a 2mm and a 1.5. So, go through. You're going to take out the 4 screws. There is one in this hole. And then you will want to take off where the cutter is. So hold this in a little bit. Don't press it. Take the screw all the way out. Okay. Once the screw's out, let that come out. It's all set. One more right here. And this will now take out the extruder assembly. You're all set. So from there, this should come out pretty easily. So I'm saying that it probably won't. Oh, sorry. I have 2 more screws up here. Okay. This is for the filament sensor. Be very gentle with this one. Put it off to the side. Now, should come out relatively easy. Okay. From there, you do have a couple more screws. Very gentle. Okay, so you don't have to go all the way. So right here, let's see if I could get in closer. So right there, the wires travel up the pass, and they go all the way over. So, take the wires out. These are your 2 old components, or just the one if you get lucky. Now doing the reverse. You take your new assembly. What happens is a lot of times these wires get a little loose. It's not going to hurt anything. To take up the slack, you can give a little twist through this all to hold it all together. Just make sure all the connections are nice and together. Okay. And what you're going to do, back here. Put that wire over here. And just kind of get it right in the channel. Okay, that's one. Now, same thing over here. Wire for the fan. Put that back in the channel. And we're all good. Now, what I would suggest, is get this little clip back on. Bit tricky. Okay, once it's on, it looks nice and flush. That way when you pull the wires, you're not hassling with it. Now, reverse. Come back over here. We're going to put the clip back on. So now you can tuck the wires nicely once you get that reverse process going. These are the 3 screws. The 2mm. Make sure you guys can see. Okay. Do apologize, it's on my phone. I'm not no crazy creator on YouTube. I don't have fancy editing skills or any of that. Just a guy with a hobby, hoping to help out anywhere I can. You'll probably find similar videos online where you got plenty of people that are great with the software and get this done in 10 seconds to teach you everything. But for me, I work with my hands all day, I do HVAC, and I come home and I hobby on 3D printers. So, anyways, going back in the process now. That's all nice and tight, nice and firm. As I said before, I like to curl up the wires because now it makes it nice and clean and holds it together. Now you can push up a little bit, tuck it behind. It's nice and clean, nice and firm. And now, as well, you got the fan assembly. Like I said, this, see, you can just bring it back and forth, no issue. That's the great part about it. You start bringing this up and attach it exactly where you need. And that can be tucked away and cleaned. And it looks good. Now the wire is exactly where you need. This is why I thought it was important for me. Now you put this assembly right back. Make sure this cable, this ribbon cable, is nice and flush back. The motor's right here with some other wires that connect for the motor. If you snag it and pinch this wire, it'll have a lot of headaches. Don't want to have to replace this. I mean, you could. It's not that expensive, just more time consuming, and now your printer's down even longer. Okay, reverse process. Let's get the screws back in. Okay. And while you're here, you can always take a look inside. Make sure the extruder looks good, the wheel's turning. How's everything else? Looks pretty good. Okay. Now, let's get to the next part. Put this back over. Pull back on the tension. Slide it in. Okay. We'll get our screws back in now. Pull back on the tension a little bit to remove the tension on the casing, so when you put the screw in, it makes life a lot easier. Beautiful. Another one. And of course, all the boring parts, you guys want to, you know, pass it all, be my guests. But it is here for whatever diabolical pleasure you get out of watching someone do all this. I'd probably be bored out of my mind. But, anyways, this is not me. Okay, back to the blade. It's just, basically, you flip this right in, by the way. Let it sit down. You push it right in. It glides itself right in. There's no worries about lining it up. Just make sure that hole is lined up when the screw in and hold it in. Same thing, screw this back in. Snug. All these are snug. Do not over tighten. Okay. Okay. Just like that. Nice and loose, good. Up here, good. Not loose, tight, but get the point. Okay, same thing. We are going back over here. Suck the cable in. If you have difficulty tucking this ribbon cable back in because you pulled it out, go in the back and pull the ribbon cable. There is enough for you to do that. Okay. Now, back down. Same threads, different head sizes. Keep this in mind, guys. I'll show you the comparison. Let's see if my stubby fingers can get you zoomed in. Yep. Two different head sizes. Bigger head size on the tool head. Smaller one over here for the filament sensor. Same thread, same everything. The head of the screw is completely different. I think next time we're going to idiot-proof this for everyone, such as myself. That doesn't make a little organizer, and I want everything color-coded. That way I can never screw this up. Okay. One down. And we'll get the filament back in. Line up the little clip. There we go. Snaps in. Voila. Okay. Next. I will say, just talking on a camera, you don't realize that you get stage fright. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Probably only get one person that views this if they make this hard. Oh, that's big. I could go on. All is not. Like I said, for us hobbyists, this is just for the community. There's no glory or fame that we're trying to earn. All for fun. What I do need is a recommendation for a microphone that can actually clip onto my shirt. I don't know if anyone knows of any good ones. I would greatly appreciate that. Get a little bit more firm with it. So, that is that. The guide. Now, please do not lose that guide. Last I checked, and they might have updated it, you cannot buy this by itself. But last I checked, that was months ago. Bamboo likes to make us look like liars real quick. Okay, that is that. Like I said, these you clean up. I have backups. Well, that's your amusement. Color will be different. Stainless, hardened steel. I don't know if they still make them, but just so you know, there is a bit of a difference. That one already had some in it. I don't want to use. So 5.4. Good. Guide this up. Sits right in the pocket. Close it. There we go. Get my eyeball in. Put the cover back on. Okay. And that should do it. Now from there. Oh, don't yell at me, I forgot the boot. Okay, it's right here. Where's the boot? Show me the boot. Plethora of boots. Okay. And the boot's on. So, from there you're going to power it up, clear any errors, do another calibration, make sure everything is good. And you should be good from there. If you have any questions, make a comment, reach out to me, send me a message. Here to help. Tech support is free, as much as I can help with any knowledge I have. And we'll go from there. So, wonderful. Thanks for watching, and it's always a pleasure.